Hi, I'm Cecelia Sterling, and I have a story to share. Couldn't be more excited about the prompt that I saw on Instagram. Send me your wine stories. So this is kind of a new venture for me, and to have what I'm doing reinforced on Instagram is like the divine speaking directly to me. So thank you. Yes, storytelling is a thing. Yes, other people in the world appreciate it, not just me. And I have a really good story about wine, and I hadn't thought about it in so long. So I'm really happy to be here and sharing my story. Thanks for inviting me. Always nice to be invited, right? Okay, so I am in my early 20s. I'm almost finished with college. I have, I guess, one semester left. And I'm going to Ireland for a summer program. And when I applied, it was Haiti or Ireland. Ireland was the winner. In the spring, which I didn't know this when I applied for the study abroad, in the spring I meet this young man, we'll call him D. And he was a dreamboat. He was a French dreamboat. And we spent a couple of months together in the spring. And then in my college town, he was visiting because he had a good friend that lived there. And then I, that summer, go to Ireland for my, 6 or 7 week study abroad program. And then I go to France for 2 weeks to see him. And I want you to rewind here. There is no Instagram or Pinterest and all things that we get to sort of savor and enjoy about France in a day-to-day way, like in the palm of our hand, like we can now. It's all in my mind. And I have an incredible imagination. So I believe that these 2 weeks in France are going to be the most beautiful, most romantic experience of my life, certainly, but perhaps of anyone's life. It's going to be so good, right? I'm in my early 20s. I have a really big imagination. So Ireland is amazing. And D is not quite as responsive as I wish that he would be on email, but he does ultimately get back to me, so it's going to be fine, right? I arrive to Paris on a quick flight, inexpensive, so glorious. I've had my, international experience of being both in London and Ireland, and there have been ups and downs like there isn't anything, but I'm very happy and feeling very excited and enthusiastic about the world and myself in it, I guess is a good way to put it. And I arrive, it's nighttime. It's the smaller airport in Paris, and it opens up when you come or go, and then it closes. So our flight comes in, we get off the plane, I walk outside with my bags, Dee's not there. And the airport closes. I have abandonment issues. I am freaking out. And I'm not texting. I don't have a cell phone. This is a very different time. And Uber is not a thing. All I see, in fact, are trucks. Truck driver trucks, smaller, cuter European versions of our semis, right? It's kind of a rural area, and I'm like, oh, I am so freaking out. And I just decide, worst case, I will hitchhike, and I'll get in one of those trucks, and they'll take me to the city, and I'll get a hotel. Oh, wait, I don't speak French. That little bit in high school, why didn't I study harder? It's okay. I will figure this out. I'll be okay. So in that moment, I face my fear and I just declare that I will work this out. And D shows up. Thank you. Merci. He picks me up. Oh, sorry, I'm a little late. Like, no big deal. Very nonchalant. Doesn't understand I was just in complete internal crisis. So it's not exactly as romantic or idyllic as I had imagined so far. I've just like literally faced one of my biggest fears. I'm in the car. He's a little moody. We go to a friend's flat in Paris and spend the night. And they have why can't I think of the word, hammock in their living room. And again, we don't have all, like the fabulous Parisian bohemian Instagram feeds, but it's everything I could imagine and enjoy about a Parisian flat. It's fantastic. I'm very happy to be there. Dee and I are not having the romantic exchange I had hoped for, but I'm very happy to be in this place on several levels. So we stay there one night and then we head out in the car and we travel around France for 2 weeks. And it continues to not be the romantic escape that I'd like to experience with him, but I continue to be very happy where I am in the world. It's all living and learning, right? Well, one of the places we go, and he kind of doesn't know what to do with me. Like, this is my whole world to be there. And he's like, okay, 2 weeks in my country, right? Not sure where I'm going. He's trying to get into photography school. He's 24. He's in a pretty insecure, place in his life that we actually exchange years later about. And he says, I'm sorry I wasn't more emotionally available to you when you were here or more prepared to have you on this trip. And at that point, I'm 24 and freaking out. And no, dude, I don't know how you even received me for a 2-week vacation. We didn't have much money. What were we, I get it now. But in the time, let's get back there and just be in the present of this trip. We're getting in the car. We're going to head out for 2 weeks. And one of the things he thinks to do is to go visit a friend of his that still lives with his parents. And I can't remember where in France it was. But it was beautiful. And so we go to their house, and it's almost like he hands me off to the parents. Can you do something with her? I'm going to go hang out with my buddy. And again, now I kind of understand that. At the time, I'm feeling, he doesn't really want to hang out with me, but what are we going to do? And now I get to have this French immersion experience, so I'll hang with this family, right? They don't speak English. I have a book. We go on a hike one day. It's amazing. Everyone we walk by says bon appetit or bonjour. If someone's eating or what, it's just so wonderful. I can't even say anything more about it than that. It's so wonderful to be there. And we get back to the house, and I've been trying to do this cool girl, European, just let the hair on my legs grow. And I literally can't stand it anymore. And so I take a bath. I actually learned that phrase from my roommate actually in Ireland. She would say, I'm going to take a tub. And I grabbing something like a nice phrase from someone and using it for all my life to remind me of a place. So I took a tub, and they had this really beautiful big bathtub in their bathroom. And I decide I'm going to shave my legs. And there is so much hair in the bathtub because my legs were so hairy. I'm kind of gross, a little mortified, And all of a sudden, when I am done with the bath, I can't figure out the plug. Maybe I've clogged it. Maybe I am, talk about mortified. I am destroyed inside. The level of embarrassment I'm experiencing, I can't talk about it in English. I just assume that no one here shaves their legs, so I've done something horrific culturally. And now I've broken their bathtub. But I have a book, and I'm just going to go hide in a lawn chair in the yard and read my book. I almost can't actually experience the amount of more embarrassment I have in my body. It's an abundance. And I just let him work it out with them. Like, I can't, right? I guess he does. Nobody really brings it up. And now it's dinner. And they set up the most beautiful table. There's plates and glassware and bottles of different beverages and all these different little foods to share and eat, and everything is delicious. And the dad pours me a glass of wine. And I'm a big wine drinker now. I absolutely love wine. And at the time, I have very little exposure to it. And it's almost something like that I want to enjoy, but I don't know how yet. And I've had a glass here or there and actually didn't like it and kind of pretended I did. And then I've had some that I liked, but like overall, I just haven't had much. But I'm definitely going to have a glass of wine with this family, right? Like, I'm in France at this glorious table on their patio on this wonderful summer evening. And they're all speaking French, and I'm just witnessing it, experiencing it, savoring it, but not engaged verbally. And in some ways, not intellectually. It's more of like an actual body. I'm embodying this experience, if you will. So at some point throughout the meal, I've drinking my glass of wine, and the dad is pouring more and sort of motions like he's offering it to me. So I hold up my glass for him to fill it with what I believe is the same wine as I've had. And there was, maybe a drop or two in the bottom of my glass. Forget plugging up the bathtub. I might as well have burned down their house. The scathing look that I received, he was mortified. So what he was doing was offering me an additional type of wine to try. So for him, I was saying, just go ahead and add that to my glass with this other wine in it. Like, that's okay. Now, even I wouldn't have done that, not knowing much about wine. I wouldn't have mixed two together. In my defense, and I wish more than anything I could have just stood up and like yelled, and somehow they would have understood the English because of the volume. I thought it was the same wine, but it was not. So he thought that I thought it was okay to mix the wine. He's completely mortified. I'm completely mortified, embarrassed, feeling very misunderstood. And Dee is just trying to make it okay that we're there and help translate my experience to them and theirs to me. And it's almost impossible. We're all so emotional in this moment that like what was actually happening doesn't matter. We just now have to experience the feelings that we're having. And the feeling, I would say the shared feeling is mortification. And I love getting to think about like that time where a glass of wine didn't hold the type of meaning to me that it does now. It's literally like a time of day for me. It's a tone. It's a mood. It's an exploration. Like I put a lot into my glass of wine that I have in the evening. It holds a lot of meaning, and then it brings delight, and that is whatever's in the actual glass. But on this particular day, it held mortification. And ultimately also held this like international, what am I trying to say? This international interaction. It was a language and it was a misunderstanding all at the same time. amidst this glorious experience of dinner al fresco in France, with all the organic foods and conversation, and in this like ease and je ne sais quoi of what they do best. And I was literally like the bull in the china shop, the American girl, the ignorant, the small-minded alien coming in and disrupting that glorious vibe. And what I am sort of sad that they may have missed, because I may not have been able to communicate it, was how grateful I was just to be at their table. I wasn't small-minded. I may have represented that to them in all the ways, like they had whatever preconceived notions they have about an American. But I was so grateful to be expanding at that moment. And even if the feeling I was going to have was mortified, even if I was going to offend, I was so grateful for the opportunity to be expanding. And there is something very expansive to me about wine, how it changes with age, the politics, the culture, the economics of the industry, how what's going on in the world can somehow get bottled up like it does in us into a wine bottle, and then have air to breathe, morph and change, ideally into something even more incredible that we sip and experience as we celebrate, or as we mourn, or as we contemplate, or as we just walk around and don't even notice. Like it involves itself in all these different aspects of our lives. And there is complexity. And I'm enjoying in this moment, like as I give it some energy and thought, the feeling in my body of just like, wow, it really is such a powerful tool in a way, and such an important space. And with that, thanks for inviting me to share. I hope you've enjoyed my story. And if you'd like to hear any other stories by me, you can follow me, Sterling Cecelia, on Instagram, and theadventuresofsuperchick.com. Ciao for now.